go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's live. It's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the other Bears fans out there. Yo, I just told these guys, I'm literally on the struggle bus this morning. I'm hurting. Like this Bears offense, man, I'm fucking hurting, and then I feel great, and then I'm hurting again 5 minutes later. But either way, we're going to get this thing going. We got the Vikings. We got not the winning in, but definitely losing, you're done. Somehow we're still, just we're still just struggling, just barely alive. We might make it. Half the NFL or half the Chicago Bears fan base wants us out. They just want to lose out. The other half wants to get in the playoffs because anything can happen, and they fucking hear the bell and they believe in miracles. But before we get started, let's introduce the crew. First, we got Mr. Ryan Badgley, badge of honor. Badge, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Huge win last week. We'll break that all down. We just got to keep winning, fellas. If we win, we control everything. We lose, it's over. It's done. I'm not sure at this point what would help. I mean, you lose, everybody's gone. Well, at least you think everybody's gone. But are they really gone? I can't ever accept a loss. I want to win. I want to win out. I want to win the Super Bowl and worry about, yes, Jeremy, thank you very much. Me either. There's a lot of people for some reason out there in social media, though, that can. And I'm not one of those guys. I want to come out today. I want today to be just like last week. You found what works. Let's keep the pedal to the metal and win this shit.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they either found what works or Mitch told them what works. But we'll get into that here in a little while too, because there's this big back and forth this week about Mitch coming out and basically saying, that he, I don't know, and to keep it short, that he kind of told them what he likes and what he doesn't like, and they're finally doing it. But let's continue this little go around. Next, we got the bearded Bears fan, Mr. Aaron Curran. AC, what's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas? Trimmed my beard back a little bit yesterday. Got a haircut.
Okay.
The weather around here, it's raining. It's not like that. I'm okay with rain. It's that freezing ass rain, which sucks. But watching my Kentucky Wildcats forget how to play basketball yesterday. So hopefully this roller coaster ride of the Chicago Bears continues to trend upward for me today, because I know you're in the struggle bus today, Bobby, but my heart's on a struggle bus lately, bro. It's up and down, and Cats are 1-5. Worst start since 1926. I know this isn't a basketball podcast, but man, breaking my heart.
Yeah, dude, I feel you. I mean, either way, this whole season has been like that, up and down, and it's been that way for the Vikings too. I mean, we start off 5-1, Vikings start off 1-5, and now here we are, a couple games left in the season, and we're both trying to get in. But either way, next we got Mr. Ryan Kirkland Billings. The fireman is in the house. KB, what's up, dude?
What's going on, fellas? You got your boy at work, man. It stole a little time to come in here and shoot the shit with you boys, man. Talk about what's going on with the team. But y'all talking about riding the struggle bus. Whew, last night was not the greatest plan that I had. So yeah, man. We all going through it this morning. We all going through it.
Yeah. I mean, I executed a flawless plan last night, but either way, I'm hurting this morning. And last but not least, we got Mr. Mike Schaefer. Mike, what's up, dude?
What up, fellas? The people of South Bend are a little concerned, I think, after hearing that. Here we are again. Bears Sunday. What do? They just pull us right back in. They tease us for a while. They're great.
Yeah.
They suck. They're great. They suck, and we're back, right? So I'm excited. I'm with Badge. You got to be positive, especially when you've got a team that's talking about playoffs or in consideration for the playoffs at this stage of the season. So let's get that negative energy out of here. If there's any of you in the chat room that want them to lose, you can get that out of here today. But excited to see what they can do against the Vikings. You got a division rival. Today is one of those days that you wake up, you're ready for Bears football, and you jacked. You feel it in your blood, right, boys?
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Just like we said before we hopped on, man. I'd rather be a playoff team than picking 15th or 16th in the draft team. So let's go win some ball games.
But it's still a possibility that we end up that way. You know what I mean? That we end up middle of the pack. It all depends on today and how things go. Before we get into today, though, let's recap this. Let's recap this Texans game, man. Let's get into this. This 36-7 just blowout where all of us thought for sure we were getting the brakes beat off of us, and that it was going to be that Mitch versus. Well, not all of us, but KB was the only believer. But we all thought that we were going to get, kind of beat down and that it would be a tough game. And it turns like the exact opposite. And since Mr. Ryan Kirkland Billings had the Bears, had Trubisky throwing 3 touchdowns, and the rest of us are all in the fucking shame box, I'm going to let KB start this thing off and tell us what he thought of the game. And, get your thoughts first, KB. So over to you, man. What'd you think of this Bears-Texans game?
So I'm not going to say that, somebody's bold prediction was pretty much spot on. I'm not going to say that Trubisky came out and just outplayed Deshaun Watson and looked like the better quarterback, or that we even scored over 30 points, because I'm pretty sure I said that shit too. But I mean, sometimes, man, the early bird gets the worm. Squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, whatever you want to call it. But the truth of the matter is, man, this Bears offense has found its identity. You go under the center with Trubisky, man. Run the damn ball. We've been saying that for how many years? Since Trubisky's been back in. Look at the production of Montgomery. Like, I mean, it speaks for itself.
That's true.
Offensive line has looked way better. And I feel like I deserve a pat on the back for that one, too, because I was one of the people that said when we got Mustafa and Alex Bars, they should get playing time. Mustafa should probably be the starting center going forward. That's just a solid all-around player. The run game has looked better. The offense, like I said, as a whole has looked entirely better. You got Mitch is throwing with confidence, man. He's playing with confidence. That's a scary thing. This is what we've been looking for since the season has started. So, I mean, yeah, Texas was shorthanded, but at the end of the day, the Texans were shorthanded, but at the end of the day, you come to play football. I don't give a damn if you got your best out there, if you don't got your best out there. Ask Notre Dame.
On that point, though, if Deshaun Watson had all of his weapons and we didn't have all ours and Mitch played bad, they would say Deshaun Watson outplayed Mitch. But did anybody in Houston or Houston media ask Deshaun Watson about Mr. Trubisky outplaying him last week? I don't really keep up with their media or not. So
of course it wouldn't brought up.
I doubt it, man.
I doubt it, man. I mean, why bother? Mitch, his career up to this point has been a microcosm of ups and downs, where a guy like Deshaun Watson, the other guy, Patrick Mahomes, they've, played well consistently throughout their career. So the market, that market, I mean, even if Mitch had come out last year against Mahomes and dominated, nobody's going to talk. Nobody's going to ask Patrick Mahomes about that, just like they probably didn't ask Deshaun Watson. It's a media story for Chicago. It was a Mitch story. Mitch obviously couldn't have cared less. Either way, he just came out and did his job. And my goodness gracious, guys, look at what happens when you ask for the input of your quarterback on what works for him and what doesn't. Right. I mean, you look at even the Green Bay game, you can go back and look at, Mitch playing better, looking at the run game opening up with a mobile quarterback, which is not Nick Foles, but yet Matt Nagy felt it better to bench Mitchell Trubisky and put a guy who, I mean, I weigh over 300 pounds and I could outrun Nick Foles, for Christ's sake. It's asinine, the fact that this guy was in the starting lineup for this long when he clearly was the problem with his lack of ability to move out of the pocket and
Yeah.
try to run this offense, you lost your running game. Your offensive line, everybody just pinned their ears back that played us defensively. They had nothing to worry about. And now it's a completely different ball game. And I feel very good about what I saw last week, not only from the offense, the defense figured itself out.
Absolutely.
I mean, Roquan Smith balled out. Khalil Mack looked phenomenal, even though he had the bum shoulder. The defense played great, and our special teams has continued to impress. I know O'Donnell had a bad punt in the Detroit game, but I mean, Cairo Santos has been kicking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now that the team, you saw right off the jump offensively, the 80-yard touchdown run for Montgomery.
Yeah.
He may not get in if Allen Robinson isn't sprinting down the field and keeping that guy away from David Montgomery. I mean, that shows right there, these guys know exactly what's at stake here, and they're ready for it, and they want to win it, and they're going to do it no matter what. No matter what the coaches are saying or doing, the players know, and they're ready, and they want this.
The stars last week were stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you expect, right? And we haven't gotten that. At least we haven't gotten it in all three phases in one game. But everybody stepped up, and I put Mitch in that too. He may not be a star, but he's supposed to be a star. But everybody did their job, and the supporting cast made it possible. The offensive line, like, God, they look so good right now, especially on the interior. Those are guys you want to move forward with. And that's why I think you have this conflicting feeling right now of going into next season. You got a lot of really good pieces. Yeah. And if the stars step up like they did last week, Roquan, 2 sacks, Mack had a sack, Robinson with 120-plus yards, Montgomery we talked about, if you can get that effort, and it doesn't have to be every game, but if you get that consistently, there's no reason why you can't be talking about contending for a division title, not just getting into the playoffs. So, what an effort last week. It was great to see. Yes, it was the Texans. I get it. And that's part of the whole real new bad game.
Any given Sunday, though.
You got to, yes, and you have to execute. And the Bears did that. So you can't fault them for who their opponent was last week.
Well, I will give Matt Nagy this. This team hasn't quit on him. And here, is this the play? No, that ain't it. The play that Cole Kmet made, man, where he just refused to go down. Now
every run, baby.
Oh, yeah, he's dragging like 3 people.
Right. That's gotten him in trouble a couple of times in the past, but I love to see it, man. Just bulldoze your way through that secondary and fight for those extra yards. And just like Badge said, this defense showed up and played well. I think those jerseys are 2-0, and we ball out in those jerseys too, man. I'm a jersey fanatic, as you guys have seen. I've always got a jersey on every week, and I love those ones. I was looking for a Mooney one, so I might have to order me one this off season of that throwback Mooney. But I just love the way everything came together, and the team didn't quit on their head coach when they totally could have. They totally could have went in the tank. They totally could have shut themselves down and said, hell with this. Let's start all over. But they came out and they played well. And yes, it was against a 4-win Texan team, but any given Sunday, man, you got to show up every week and play hard. All these guys are great. And
4 wins, man. The way I saw it, we were still looked at as the underdog in that game. Last I checked, everybody and their mama was saying, we were going to get boat raced by the Texans regardless. So I thought it was going to be if it was against the Texans.
I didn't think it was going to be a boat race, but I thought it was going to be turned into a bit of a shootout. And I didn't know how much I trusted our offense, but our defense came out and did their job. Offense came out, did their job. Special teams came out, did their job. And when everybody does their job, you come home with a victory 9 times out of 10.
So what happens here? The Bears, we say we pull a dub today against the Vikings, right? Then we beat the Jaguars. We go into the final week of the season against a Green Bay team that's already clinched and already has the first round bye, which, in history and in theory, you wouldn't play any starters, right? So if we come out and win, say we win out. I mean, today's the start of it, right? And of course, one game at a time. Is it too little too late is it too little, too late? Does this coaching staff still get relieved, or can they still save the season?
I don't know
getting
how
into the playoffs keep their
I don't know how McCaskey looks at it, but for me, it's playoffs or goodbye, regardless. And if you come out, I think the Packers will play starters in the last week, because I
think maybe for a quarter. I don't think they're going to do it the whole time.
If it's playing to keep the Chicago Bears out of the playoffs, you don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to play all game?
He may want to.
He might. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't think they would. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would, but I think the circumstances surrounding 2020 brings this leadership regime back. And I'm not saying that's what I want, but I think the fact that revenues this year have been crushed, like I don't see the McCaskies wanting to pay two people to do one job. Like I think that might be one of the reasons that even if let's say they lose out the next 3 games, I think every one of us, if we had the decision or could make the decision, we'd be replacing both the GM and the coach. But I think a lot of the circumstances that surround this year, and not just the money side of it, but the fact that like you had to manage a team and make sure everybody was wearing their masks and not going out. And the Bears have been really good. Like they really haven't had too many cases. They've been isolated mostly to the practice squad. So you got to give some credit to the coaches. And I think that might be a prevailing factor that will keep them in Chicago for another season, regardless of the outcome of the next 3 weeks.
I agree with you, Mike. To me, if I am in the chair and I'm making the decision at Super Bowl, or everybody get the fuck out. But thinking about how this year has been and how, how difficult it has been, not only for the organization, but the players, their families. I mean, you've got guys that aren't playing this season for fear of catching COVID-19. And, I definitely think that the organization will factor that in. I mean, I think if they win out and lose in the playoffs, I think the front office is going to look at this as a successful season because of what they went through and how they rebounded from it, and how Matt Nagy, his staff, and Ryan Pace handled the 6-game losing streak to then turn around and bounce it, fix it. To me, it shouldn't factor in that way. To me, it should be the whole product. Coach, you took and benched Mitchell Trubisky in the Atlanta game and brought in Nick Foles. Phenomenal comeback. He was able to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After that, your offense.
If Mitch stayed in that game, we wouldn't have won that Atlanta game, though.
Possibly not. But then you bring in Nick Foles, your starter, and the offense was worse with him under center. Now, I get that they played some tougher defenses. They played some tougher defenses under Foles. How would Mitch have fared there? We can't say that because he didn't play in those games.
Well, I think Mitch learned a lot by being benched, though. He watched.
Well, I think Mitch is to the point now where he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
he's playing for himself and his teammates, and everybody else can kiss his ass. And I wish that's the mentality he had coming in here right from the jump. Right. And all this other shutting TV off bullshit. I'm reading this fucking book about how to wash my balls and this, that, and the other thing. We didn't need that.
Yeah. Mitch walked in as a hated guy. I mean, he went to a Bulls game the day after he was drafted and got freaking booed.
Yep.
Before he ever stepped on the field.
Yeah. Nagy talked about BU. He didn't allow Mitch to be himself. And I know people are sick of hearing BU. I'm sick of it. He didn't allow that with Mitch. He allowed it with everybody else, but expected something different from Mitchell Trubisky. And if I'm Mitchell and I'm out, I don't give a shit what happens. Even if I take this team now and win a Super Bowl with them, I don't want to stay with this coaching staff. I have no desire to be with guys that gave up on me, left me to myself after they benched me, and then I had to figure things out on my own. I respect Mitch for doing that because a lot of times guys will fold and give up, but he didn't. And you can see by his play on the field how much of a benefit it was for him to just finally recognize himself and not worry about all this other bullshit.
I always felt like Mitch was a puppet. Like up until the benching, like I always felt like the things he was saying in press conferences and his attitude and everything, it never seemed super genuine. It always seemed like it was kind of being forced into him. And since the benching, when he even said, like, for the first time in my career, I felt like I was on an island.
Yep.
And I wasn't getting support. He figured out how to be himself. Be you. Here we go. But he did. And the things he's saying and the way that he's playing and the way that he's directing the offense and telling, if it took him, we all were doing it for how many weeks, but it took him to tell Nagy that we need to get Kmet involved in this offense more and Monty needs to run the ball more. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I know we're going to get to that, but like, I think he finally is there where he's like, look, fuck it. Like, I'm no longer speaking to the Bears management when I'm in these press conferences. I'm no longer part of that. I am now speaking for myself, and I'm talking to GMs of every other team across the league. This is who I am. This is what you get next year if you sign me. So, God, we could be talking about such a different reality if they would have allowed that. And again, I'm making the presumption that he's been a puppet for the last 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever it's been. But my God, if he was himself from the beginning, what would our current reality look like?
We would be talking about him like Cutler. Well, this guy doesn't care. This guy just tells us whatever he thinks.
It's going to be it's the tale of two extremes. It's either you're the puppet or you're the Jay Cutler. It's never ever going to be the happy medium for any Bears fans, and that's what the honest to God truth is. It's always going to be either he's too soft or he's too much of an asshole. It's one or the other.
And I always loved that about Cutler. I know I'm in the minority.
Can you actually come into Chicago as a quarterback and be like judged fairly though? I feel like the bar is, and not that we have anything to hold it to, the bar is so high, and like as soon as somebody throws a pick, like half the fucking city wants to do traded or out of here. You know what I mean? And like
I was gonna say, like right now you see
short, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like right now you see Ravi, like, oh, you put a guy on the flats, they destroy it. Well, why the fuck didn't the Texans put a guy in the flat? Why you say you don't want Mitch here? Why not? Mitch isn't a bad backup.
My question is,
I'm telling you, I tweeted it a month ago when we played the Titans. Mitch Trubisky will be the next Ryan Tannehill when he gets away from Chicago.
He is. Yeah. He's going to go to a team that's going to invest in him.
He's put in the correct system and not forced to do a bunch of stupid shit where you got two people going out on the route, and regardless of the coverage you're throwing to this guy,
right?
Because he did that with Mooney.
Let Mike Shanahan. Yeah. I said Shanahan. Let Shanahan get a hold of Trubisky. You got a whole different quarterback because it's an offensive style that he plays to. And they say you talk about he's out the league in 3 years.
No way.
It's quarterbacks that should have been out of the league after their first year.
Still has a job.
Dude, Mike Glennon was starting for the Jaguars up until last week, Ravi. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, dude.
He's going to be out the league in 3 years. But
Glennon, man.
At this point, it's like I said, you got fans that want to bash the kid, and then you got fans that want to praise the kid. Man, he's a fucking Bears player. I'm sorry. I'm behind him.
Yep.
As long as he wears a Bears uniform, I'm going to be behind Trubisky. Yeah, he plays like shit sometimes, but I mean that's what comes with the territory.
Yeah, and AC was talking about how the players haven't given up on Nagy. They also haven't given up on Mitch. Like you saw, there was a clip towards the end of the game of A-Rob and Mitch having a moment, and you could tell they're both like, well, we don't know where we're going to be next year, but we got each other's backs, right? Like not one single receiver, not one single defensive player has ever said a bad word about Mitch ever. Like they continue to praise the guy. Even
the guys that are out of it now, like the Kyle Longs, you know what I mean? They're like Miller. They're still big fans of Mitch, and there's no reason for them to not be honest. Right, in their assessment,
right?
So they're off the team or whatever, out of the league, and they're still big fans of Mitch. But there's a lot of criticism to Nagy from those dudes. So somebody who has been under him and now is outside of the organization, I feel like, is free to talk now, and they're out of
Nagy's learned a lot
that wing. Yeah, what does he learn though? He's learned that he can't fucking call plays, and he needs fucking Laser to help him.
He's learned to adjust his system to the players he has, rather than just trying to stick this square peg in a round hole. And hopefully he'll continue to do that in the future, whether he's here or somewhere else.
I mean, this is something as a head coach.
I agree, Badge. We've been talking about it for 2 years, but this guy was only an offensive coordinator coming in. And Andy Reid was calling all those shots. This is another reason why a lot of people were talking about grabbing that offensive coordinator from Kansas City now. I'm terrified to grab from the Andy Reid tree after Nagy.
Look what's happening in Philly with Doug Peterson. Everything was so great for, Carson Wentz. Well, Carson Wentz got hurt. Nick Foles won him a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz hasn't been the same quarterback since.
We need those Eagles to get that dub today, though, so we can keep our playoff hopes alive.
Count on Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to win, man. We need to win, and obviously we're gonna need a little help around the league. But if they don't win, it's over. Ravi, dude, Ravi's on fire today, man.
On fire today,
yeah. Ravi woke up, fucking snorted a monster, and like it said there, Ravi woke up on the fucking Packers side of the bed today. But this dude's on fire this morning, man. Let's get into some of this. Let's get into a little bit of this week. Things that were said in the interviews and that. First one we got is we'll go the Bears offense against the Texans. What Laser was asked what he saw on tape. It's kind of putting everything together of how this team has traded. I guess it's just traded the shit offense in for what they're doing now and how everything got going. So let's drop that in here and then I'll get your guys' thoughts.
But what you see when you look on video is, especially on a lot of those movement plays and play actions, Mitch absolutely had his eyes looking down the field. You're trying to take the shots when you can get them, and you can see the defenders react back in zone pretty quickly and get back. And so then I thought he did a good job taking the underneath ones. And I think we've tried to really stress run after the catch the last few weeks, and I think it's been gaining for us. And I think guys are starting to feel it. And it's you saw Allen Robinson, I think it was a 35-yard play when he made the safety miss. You saw, obviously Cole has a couple there where they have a hard time bringing them to the ground. I don't know if they've brought them down on all of those yet. So I think guys are just starting to understand how it all fits together.
I agree. I mean, he brought up the Cole Kmet play again, and Allen Robinson. We all talked about it, how he hasn't given up. I liked what they did last week, moving the pocket around, run the ball, do some play action off of it. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that's Bill Lazor doing his job and just letting Nagy worry about time management and not wasting timeouts and stuff like that. Now, we'll see if that can continue against some tougher defenses, but I like the way we looked last week. I mean,
I was like, man, it's about simplifying things, dog. You look at it. Bill Lazor simplified the offense for Andy Dalton. Mm-hmm. Andy Dalton looked like a Pro Bowl quarterback at one point. That's all you have to do. Just get the man his fundamentals down and simplify the offense. We don't have to have this crazy scheme where you got to have the defensive tackle lining up at tight end and flat going out into the flat to catch a touchdown. Dog, just do the basics. Get the basics down.
Yeah. You don't have to go big to get big, right?
Exactly.
You saw, a lot of these short, simple passes, and when you've got receivers and tight ends that can break tackles or can give you that second effort all day, dink and dunk, chip away, right? That's how you wear.
Tom Brady made a career out of that.
Yeah. So I think simplification is the key here, and it's not necessarily because Mitch is dumb. It's because it's a good way to run an offense.
Oh, yes, we can. Yeah. We got to shout out our boy Joey.
Happy birthday to Joe Melvin.
Oh, yeah. I had old two scoops in the shout outs for the end, but yes, Mr. Mandel, happy birthday.
Hell with the
Old,
shout out.
old Trojan Joe. But
Trojan Joe.
yeah, that's the man. You get a double scoop of Trojan Joe, you better watch the fuck out. But yeah, I think you guys are right, man. Simplifying everything isn't because Mitch can't handle it. It's just easier to run. You know what I mean? Like Nagy comes into this thing with like schematics of how to do this and how to do that, and like I think he's makes it so much harder for the offense
Work
to operate.
smarter, not harder.
Yeah, and Laser
Right.
comes in here, man, and just like we finally see fucking drag routes and slants, and you don't see that with Nagy. With Nagy, you see like the 10-year-old kid picking the fucking all goes on Madden and just throwing the ball up. You know what I'm saying? But he tries to say things are so complicated.
With the one
I don't know,
hook.
man.
And that's the only open receiver.
Yeah, but another thing that's kind of keeps me questioning it is, why does Nagy still have a play sheet in his hand, and why do you see him after plays still talking into the mic and doing things? Is this fully Laser? Is he really running it, or is Nagy fucking chiming in on everything?
I mean, I think Nagy has.
I think they all have a say. Honestly, it sounds like from what Nagy said Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember which day. It's Nagy, it's Laser, it's Flip, it's Dave Ragone, Mitch, everybody.
Well, they all can't be fucking chiming in for a 3rd and 3, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I don't think it's during the game. I think it's in the pre-planning and planning the game plan for the week. They're all looking at things, and I mean, here we were 3 weeks ago, and Anthony Miller came out saying we're not even running plays in games that we run in practice.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell are you running the play in practice for then? What you should be working on your game plan for that week, unless things have changed in the 20 plus years it's been since I stepped on a football field. But
Anthony Miller's been invisible since saying that too. Is he being reprimanded?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I think they all get together. They all put in what they feel is beneficial and what they like and what they don't like. I think they talk about it. And then on game days, I really do believe it's Laser making the play calls, because you will get camera shots when, the offense is on the field and Nagy's talking to the defense, after they've come off, or, communicating with the coaches on the sideline.
Yeah, I think it's probably possible or probable that Nagy has a certain subset of plays for, different down and distances. So he gives that to Laser. Laser gets to kind of pick from whatever Nagy's put together. That's my thoughts. And I never claimed to be an X's and O's guy, but
yeah,
I can't imagine it's like how easy. I mean, you can't just rewrite a playbook, right? Like you have to be, using a lot of Nagy's his plays. So
yeah, no, I get it. And I mean, Laser is operating out of Nagy's playbook, right? And maybe Laser is asking Nagy for input, and Nagy isn't forcing his input. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why it is. I don't know. It could be total innocence, but it also could be because Laser was turned around and asked, how he. Sorry, Carrie just walked in and fucking, was like, hey, and I just got distracted. But Laser was asked. Laser was asked how, right? Laser was asked, like, how does he feel he's doing? Look at that. There she is. Laser was asked, how does he feel he's doing as an offensive coordinator? And he's like, I don't know. You have to ask Nagy that. Like, that's not for me. But I think it shows in the last 3 weeks, right? That, I mean, and I know the Twitter world erupted, but Mitch is number 2 in touchdown passes the last 3 weeks.
I mean, he's the number 2 Lions. The offense looked good.
Yeah. And he's, I mean, Mitch is just comfortable now. He's more comfortable with his offense. He's more comfortable under a Laser offense. He's more comfortable in the interviews. He's more comfortable bringing shit to the coaches. And we actually have, Mitch's interview here with his comfortability in this offense. And then Badge, you can pick it up. But let's drop this in here real quick.
Do you feel like you're in more of a comfort zone with this offense now compared to where you were at the beginning of the season? Because it just seems like everything's more tailored to your strengths. I mean, moving the pocket, up tempo, even Kmet being a bigger factor now than he was his first game. It just seems like the offense is better. Is that just kind of a mischaracterization? What do you think about that?
I do feel comfortable. I mean, after getting benched and then being able to go back in, this is just kind of some of the things that I've been asking for. And I feel like there are strengths of mine and also strengths of this offense. And I just thought it was a good idea to get Cole more involved, to get David more involved, to get A-Rob more involved. You just got to get the ball to your playmakers out in space and stretch the field horizontally and vertically, but also keeping the defense off balance. And I think the change in tempos really helps this offense. I think moving the pocket really helps me and helps our offensive line, and also helps create run lanes. So these are things I'm very comfortable with, things I've been asking for. And I think everyone's buying into it. And I think we're starting to build an identity, and we just need to keep getting better and better. And at the end of the day, when we play 11 guys as one and we're playing as a unit and we're executing, that's when the good plays will continue to happen.
Hey, Mitch, you're talking about these changes that you went to the coaching staff and asked for and how they've had such a positive impact on the offense. Why didn't you ask for them earlier, or did you ask for them earlier and they just weren't willing to implement them at that time? And how do you think, had they started earlier, things might be different?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess you never know. I was asking, I was always putting my input in. But you can't change the past. So we are where we are now, and the offense has progressed over the last few weeks. And all we can do is try to stay on this path that we are now and keep getting better. Can't change the past. I can't put myself back in the game weeks ago or anything like that, but it's got to continue with this constant communication, just having the open dialogue and always doing what is best for the Bears offense.
It took until week 13 of year 4 or 3 of Matt Nagy's offense for him to finally say to his players, hey, I got to change my offense to play to your strengths. And then he came out in his press conference this past week or last week and admitted, well, sometimes you have to change your scheme to play to the strength of your players. The guy doesn't get it, unfortunately. I for the life of me, I mean, no matter the sport, guys, whether it's baseball, basketball, soccer, field hockey, floor hockey, wiffle ball, it doesn't matter. You put your players in their best possible positions for them to make an impact to your team, for your team to succeed, for the player to succeed. Nagy finally has figured it out. To me, that's a fireable offense. And if this team doesn't win out, that's the first head that rolls for me. The fact that this guy's been asking for plays that benefit him, asking for guys 3 years ago, Matt Nagy's first press conference. Yeah, we got to get a U tight end. That's what we need. That's what this offense is built around. And Cole Kmet up until last week had 14 fucking targets.
Yeah.
What the hell? Come on. You're an NFL head coach.
Yeah.
It's just fucking maddening to me.
I don't understand
this long.
How right. How does it take that long? You hire an offensive-minded, quote-unquote guru to run the team. That guy right there, who I'm attached to with the whole mask thing, so I got to be careful a little bit here. But
you got your ass in trouble.
You've got right. You've got already been in the doghouse this week, so maybe more on that later. But you've got an offensive-minded coach, and then your second overall pick. How are they not on the same page? How does it take 2.5 years to get those two guys on the same page? The Trubisky's face when I think it's Mark Potash that asked the first question, when he mentions Komet and Trubisky's got like this shit-eating grin on his face. There we go. That's a beautiful picture. Masks are no longer available, if anybody's wondering.
Ah,
But his face, like, that's new Mitch, right? Like, you had old Mitch, now you got new Mitch, this like kind of guy that's going to stand up for himself. That grin on his face when Potash mentions Komet's name, I was dying when I saw that.
Yeah.
And the little chuckle that Mitch gave when he was asked, you know what I mean? When he's like, and we got another clip coming up, but the little chuckle that he was giving, like when he's like, well, what changed? He's like, well, the coach just started kind of listening to me, you know? And he's like,
I was gonna say nothing was more telling when that man came out and said, well, I can't change the past. I can't change that I wasn't playing.
Right. I don't have
I can't put myself in the game.
Right. You know, Mitch just wanted to come out and say, I mean, it's not my fault I wasn't in playing no more. Like they pulled me because they wanted to pull me. Like, bro, if I was Mitch, I'd just let it fly, bro. You ain't got shit to lose.
I mean, you got to give kudos to Mitch, guys, because that second question, he could have said, yeah, these guys are fucking idiots. They shouldn't be coaching an NFL team. And he kept it, you know, he did the right thing, didn't throw anybody under the bus when he totally could have said, hey, guys, you know, I like Matt. He's a nice guy. He's a personal guy. He's a coach, a player's coach. But he don't have a fucking clue what he's doing.
Right.
He could have
if
done
he came out and said that, then he will be out of the league in 3 years, Robbie.
Yeah. There's no way, but he did kind of, I mean, without saying that, right? I mean, he had a good approach to it, to just be like, yeah, well, you know, they're finally listening to what I'm saying. And there is a piece of that comes with, right? If you have some rookie quarterback come in, you're going to obviously, like Badge was saying, kind of play to his strengths and that, which the Bears haven't done. But I don't know if everybody's listened to when they say shit, you know, because it's just, there has to be like a trust building or some sort of degree that goes along with taking a player's input and actually changing your offense. Otherwise, like, you know, throw me the damn ball books would be coming out and all this other shit of, you know, this is what I want to do. So I still think though that Mitch, that he was kind of shit on, and now they're seeing what can happen under somebody else. And I think it puts Chicago and this organization in a huge question mark on what to do now. You know, like,
I agree, Bobby.
What
I totally
happens?
agree because
What happens next?
Yeah, where do you go from here? Now, let's say this team does win out, make the playoffs. Let's say they win 2 playoff games. Well, you saw a team that everybody thought was dead, rebound, come back. Now they've won 2 playoff games, and now you have a quarterback who doesn't have a contract, who is the one who really, with his input, helps give this offense an identity, along with Bill Lazor. You have a coach who, while on the outside it looks like the players haven't quit on him, we don't know what's being said in the locker room. We don't know, you know, how these guys feel about him. It sounds like in press conferences they really do respect him. And things now make it that much harder. You have Foles under contract for next season, but I believe he has the option to opt out, if I remember correctly.
I think his opt-out stuff was like if he played really well and led us to the
He had to have half of the snaps, and he's not going to get that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had to have half of the offensive snaps.
So he's under contract.
Somebody said keep Mitch, draft a guy, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, there's 2 issues with that. Number one, we don't know what the cap is going to be like next year.
Right.
Number 2, we don't know where we're going to be in the draft order next year. So we can't even afford to do that. And if I'm Mitch, do I even want to be here when I can go somewhere else? Maybe start, maybe resurrect my career and get paid?
I think.
Well, see,
I think Nick Foles carries like a $14 million dead cap hit. So you're
not going to cut Nick because
you can't.
Money wise, you can't.
Exactly. So
in order to keep Mitch, you got to tag him. He's not going to sign a fucking 1-year contract if somebody else is offering him longer. So you would have to tag him, and then by tagging him, you're competing with a top 5.
Right.
The top 5 freaking quarterback contracts in the league.
I mean, and you'll have Dak getting $40 million this year. You got Mahomes signing his record contract. You know what I'm saying? You just can't.
Transition tag Mitch though, and hope, and then teams can match your offer. Right. So now, if you've got other teams in the league looking for, that's great. If you have other teams in the league looking for quarterbacks,
Aldo over here in Microsoft Paint.
That's awesome. And they want to match or increase their offer for Mitch, and he bounces. If I'm Mitch, I don't want to be here. I was given up on. The coaching staff left me for dead. Foles gets hurt. Now they need me. If I'm Mitch, I don't want to be here.
I think the only reason if I'm Mitch that I want to stay is that I'm basically guaranteed to be the starter again. Yeah. And he's going to get a 1-year deal probably wherever he goes, right? So he's going to want the most amount of playing time. So I think if I'm weighing options, like I agree, like this is not the ideal place for me, but you have to look at it as 1 more year as an audition year for whatever that next step is. So if I'm him, that's the only reason I want to stay in Chicago.
Yeah. I think teams are going to come looking for him though. I think there's teams right now that are in the Mitch hunt. I don't think that he's as shitty as Bears fans make him out to be. I don't think he's as much of a lost cause. I just think
look in Pittsburgh. You got Ben Roethlisberger, who's 150, and behind him you got Mason Rudolph, or you know what I'm saying. And then in Indy, you got Phillip Rivers, who's probably either going to hang him up or go somewhere else. You got a lot of job openings that are not in position to draft a really great quarterback going forward, that are going to be looking at free agency. And in free agency, you've got Mitch. Is Jameis Winston a free agent again? You know what I'm saying? You don't have a lot of options, and as far as options that you do have, Mitch may be the lesser of two evils to that front office.
Phillip Rivers yells for his wife at home. You can hear it for 40 minutes because they've had so many kids.
Man, they really have it. They got issues, man, with this coronavirus. They can't even go out to eat or nothing. I mean, they got to have 3 different tables.
That dude, man. I mean, he'll hang him up for sure. And then you got Cam, who just obviously hasn't done shit.
He can't throw the ball.
I agree with some of the people in the chat saying that New England's going to be in on Mitch and after Mitch. And who knows how much longer though New England, how much longer Belichick even sticks around, man. He could be hanging him up soon. He hasn't had losing seasons. Let's see. I mean, not since really the Browns and the early Patriots days, right?
He ain't going nowhere.
You don't think so? You don't think he's ready to hang him up soon now that the Golden Boy's gone?
I think he's going to try to prove that he could do it without said Golden Boy. And I wouldn't mind seeing what Josh McDaniels could do with Mitch.
Yeah, we'll see if they take Mitch's advice up there, or if Bill tells him to shut the fuck up. With his
look, just throw the damn crossing route to Edelman. All right, shut up.
Yeah. Well, Mitch was asked on why, or Nagy and Laser were asked why didn't they take Mitch's advice earlier. And we're gonna drop that in here right now, and then KB, you go ahead and pick it up after this, man.
It's not equal. Not every player gets the same say. I mean, that's real clear, I think. I mean, guys have to earn the ability. I'm not saying I won't listen to you, but you've got to prove, right, that you've earned the ability to help have input. I mean, that's, so I would say it's a fair system, but it's clearly not equal and shouldn't be equal. Guys who earn a little bit more input start getting it, and then over time that happens.
I think earned is a great word. And for a guy that's played in different offenses, and he's played a lot of different games in his career, the more time you're in this thing, the more you're gonna have an opinion in regards to whether you like a play or not. And so, for instance, somebody that comes into a system that has no idea anything about the concepts, they're not necessarily going to give an opinion because they don't know anything about the play. But when you're in the offense and you start learning more and more and more, and you start seeing more and more defenses, you can be way more opinionated. And when we see in practice the success or the good and the bad of that play with you at that spot, we can accept your opinion. And I think that's probably what Bill's saying when you say he said earned. And that's across the board in any position, but obviously we deal more with that with the quarterback.
Hold the hell on. Hold on. Bro,
Hold up.
I want to
Wait a
smack
minute.
the mustache off this man's face and put it on his head. I'm lost. You're telling me the person who's your incumbent starter, who's coming in to start the season, doesn't have the same input as a Nick Foles, the dude who's his backup at this point? Oh, where did they do that at? What? I'm lost. I'm really lost. And then people are sitting there wondering why Trubisky is playing the way he's playing. The man's not getting the fucking help he needs. He's telling you what he's good at. If I'm telling you I am good at doing this,
Right.
I am good at rollouts, I am good at moving the pocket, I'm not finna stand in the pocket and throw the ball down the field. That's not my game. I can get outside the pocket and do that shit. I can do it real well.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he hasn't earned it, even though he's been the quarterback for 4 fucking years, but he hasn't earned the input.
I
Okay.
think that's just a shit way for them to say that they were fucking wrong.
Oh, that's beyond shit. You don't tell me you bring somebody in and he has more pull than I got. And I'd have been here for 4 years. That's the type of shit that'll make me want to fight everybody in the front room.
Do y'all think Taysom Hill gets a say in the New Orleans offense, or do they listen to what Drew Brees has to say when he was on the bench in IR?
They're listening to Drew Brees. It's
Right, exactly.
It's a no-brainer.
I think Drew Brees is more of a fucking professional than that to where
Yeah,
Peyton
maybe
and
that was a
Brees
bad example.
already have that relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, maybe that's a bad example. But what I'm saying is when Taysom Hill was the starter, if he said, "Hey, coach, I think I'd like to run a little more," they're not going to be like, "Fuck that. You stand in the pocket, Taysom Hill."
No, they play to his strength. That's exactly what this organization and these coaches didn't do.
Yeah.
You know,
and
Mitch is a guy who – sorry, Bobby. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Mitch is a guy who you recognized in year one what worked well for him and what didn't. So now as a coaching staff, the season ends, you lose in the playoffs. Now you go back, you watch the film, and you go, okay, look at these things that Mitch did very well in this offense. Now, how can we, into next season, year 2, make it so we have more of this to help him succeed?
Right.
These fucking morons did none of that. They said, you're going to be the guy we want you to be, so you read this book, you eat this meal, you wipe your ass from front to back, and that's what he did, and it didn't work. So, I mean, I'm not saying – do I like Mitch? I do. But at this point, I mean, I feel like this is all we've talked about since Mitch came to Chicago. The Bears reached for him. Ryan Pace thought he was his guy. They set up a dinner and fucking Mitch put the reservation under Walter Payton or Dick Butkus or Sid Luckman.
James McMahon.
Yeah, whatever. And
pulled up in his Toyota Corolla.
It's just a bunch of shit at this point. Like, Mitch isn't going to be here. If he is here, they're the only team that offered him anything. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's gone. I think we just need to enjoy these remaining 3 games with him as our quarterback. Hopefully we get into the playoffs. And from there, we've got to, just as, 4 or 5 years ago when he was drafted, we're back in the same boat. And it sucks, but it is what it is.
You watch those
when
clips and you cover your eyes and disguise those voices, and you think you're hearing from the New England Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're winning football games, okay, you got to earn. But this is a team that has not found their way in 2 years, and you're in a 6-game losing streak. You're going to tell me you're not going to take feedback from a quarterback you drafted number 2 overall? Like,
how do you just not take feedback from your quarterback? And how is your quarterback not comfortable with doing that? I mean, they've been
self-scouting this whole time, Bobby.
That atmosphere shit though. Like, how the fuck does that happen? You know what I'm saying?
But it's still this place where everybody loves Matt Nagy and loves Mitch Trubisky. Like, that's like the head scratcher to me. Is that like, I agree with you. Like, it seems like a messed up management structure. But I mean, this is a day and age when players don't lie, though. They're not hiding their feelings. They're not hiding their opinions. They're saying what their pieces on social media. So how have they maintained such a happy culture, happy team dynamic?
I feel like this. I got a real horrible analogy when it comes to this. Real horrible analogy. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ever heard the term "you can't turn a hoe into a housewife"? I'm pretty sure everybody has heard this. Now, at this point, I'm not going to refer Trubisky as just a hoe, and he's a streetwalker. But it's this analogy. I'm not going to try to turn you into a quarterback that you're not. If I drafted you and you're clearly not that player, I'm going to let you play the way you play. Just like you let that hoe do what that hoe does. I'm sorry, it's a horrible analogy, but this is what my head is at today. Okay,
it's actually a pretty good
Coronavirus turned a lot of hoes into housewives.
No, it didn't. They just found houses to be in. That's all it did. But this is what we're coming from.
Clean, but she still got that ring, right?
Her man put her on blast. She was in the house sweeping. It was already a wrap. But the fact of the matter is, you can't make this kid play a way that he's not ready to play yet. If this is how you build somebody up. You play them to their strengths first, and you let the other things come naturally. That is how Tom Brady became Tom Brady. Tom Brady was never the quarterback that threw the ball down the field deep, looking for Mahomes plays. You couldn't put Tom Brady in that offensive system. You can't even put Tom Brady in the Buccaneers deep throw system and expect him to do the shit he's doing. Look at how he's playing this year.
The 1 year, right? The 1 year with Moss, I think, was the only time
he went deep like that.
Actually fucking launching it downfield. You know what I mean? And everybody was shocked that he could still do it. And that was like fucking 10 years ago. And this dude is still on a field doing things.
Right. So
you know what I'm saying?
In my reality, you play to the strengths, and then once you get his strengths down, you add on to it. Master the things he's good at first. It seems like it's common fucking knowledge. 1 + 1 = 2 in every reality, correct?
Not in Nagy's offense. I mean, the first play of the game, you got a damn 80-yard run, and then you stop fucking running.
You stop running
the ball. Yeah, because you got to fool everybody else. Like, I'm going to show them that worked, and now I'm not going to do it anymore because they're ready for it. Like, what the fuck, man?
Typical Nagy offense. Forget about the run game.
Yeah, I know, man. And I mean, a couple other things, right? I know we've been on Mitch for a long time here, but a couple other things. Mooney is definitely a fucking baller, dude. This dude is I mean, just the plays that this kid makes, and like the cuts, and like the just keep driving the ball downfield, and you've seen all this shit, man, and his like the get off, the like all that shit. Mooney is just, I mean, he does not look like a rookie, and he's just straight out fucking balling. And to have these dudes and not utilize them the way you did last week for the first part of the year is just ridiculous. And all this does come back to Nagy. I get it. And yeah, like Robbie just said, give Mahomes Mooney. If Mooney was on that fucking Kansas City team, he would be the offensive rookie of the year, hands down.
100%. Totally agree. That's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
And I mean, this kid is just ridiculous, man. And the routes, like, look at this shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he continues to just impress, and he's quiet. He quietly does it. And it's just, I mean, going up against, I mean, obviously not this clip, but going up against some top DBs, and he still finds a way to just shred them, man. And I honestly think this is Mooney's breakout and what they see in practice, and that is one of the reasons that A-Rob hasn't been signed. I know they're different wide receivers. I know they're different body frames in that, but I think it's one of the reasons where they're like, hey, we got too much money tied up in this team. We had to hit on a wide receiver, and we did, and here we are. Like, we can't pay A-Rob.
Maybe they feel like they can draft Devontae Smith too and fill that role.
Yeah. And
I think you could chalk Mooney up to another awesome late round steal by Pace.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leading the get Pace out of here campaign. But you can't argue with the fact that he's found some gems late. What was Mooney?
Eddie Jackson.
Round? Yep.
Mooney was a 5th round pick. I remember we were on live, and half of us didn't know who he was. And I think we brought in Danny Shimon, and I was like, can this guy return kicks and punts for us? I see he's fast. and now here's this guy just shredding DBs, man. I love Mooney. Like I said, I've been looking for his jersey. That's probably going to be my off-season purchase this year. But it's I'm a big fan of Mooney.
Yeah, definitely.
And we got pieces going forward. You got Mooney, you got Kmet, you got Montgomery, you got Young. We're seeing it finally. It took a long time, but we're finally seeing young pieces on the offensive line. Mustipher, Bars, Whitehair. You'll have Daniels back. We'll have to, if Leno stays or if they move on from him, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that's a tough conversation for a lot of Bears fans too.
Right, we have young pieces on this team to move forward with if we have to. If we have to move on from A-Rob. You know I love A-Rob. He's a friend of the barroom.
Yeah, and then Caesar too. What's wrong with Riley Ridley? Like, why hasn't that kid got a shot? I think there's a lot of things that go into the A-Rob conversation. And then, like you kind of said, you know, with all the young pieces in that, just to comment, I honestly, I'm one, and I know, like, we talk, we chat back and forth. I don't think Leno is going anywhere because of the cap hit. I think it's like, it's like 15 million. It's just cheaper to keep her, man. It's cheaper to keep her at this point. And I think that he's staying next year. The year after, you can release him because the cap hit and the dead cap, that all changes. But I don't think he's going anywhere, man.
I don't either. I think with the question of the salary cap next year, I really don't think you're going to see a lot of
turnover
roster moves that, you know, may happen that are probably not going to happen this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, man. I think.
Whoa.
What's up, boys? I'm loving what you're talking about, guys. But this offense, I've been trying to talk to people about it for a while. And year one with Nagy was trick plays, and it was boot action, and it was stuff like that, simplistic stuff. But it was emphasized by field position, by the defense turning the ball over so much and stopping people short. And it was emphasized by, you know, using that boot action, stuff like that. Year two, we saw Nagy's offense, which was, you know, all these crazy concepts. I want to push the ball downfield, all that sort of stuff. That doesn't suit Mitch, and it doesn't suit any quarterback who has been in flux for all of the years he's been in the NFL. Year one, he had Loggins, run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. Year two, he had Nagy and the amazing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type stuff. Year three, you know, we've regressed, and now we've got Charlie and the Chocolate Doesn't Smell Like Chocolate Factory, which is Nagy in year two. And then we've got, you know, this year where Nagy is still, you know, a guy who's plays for 6 games, and he is an Arena League quarterback. You know, he used to draw up plays. We had him on the bar room as a guest. We didn't have Nagy as a guest, but we had Jamin Elliott and 2 of the players from Delaware that played with him, and he used to draw stuff up in a huddle as a quarterback on the team in college. That part of Nagy hasn't changed. He wants to pass the ball at all times. He wants to push the ball downfield, and he isn't worried about turnovers. Well, the thing is, what they've done with the offense most recently is the things that works for any quarterback. If you've got teams play zone against us for Mitch because they know that he struggles with the zone when he's asked to push the ball downfield. Now, what's been happening is Laser is doing all the stuff we've been talking about for how long? Crossers across the field. So you're going under and over a linebacker. You do zone floods. You do rollouts. You do RPOs.
Yeah.
Where you're actually keen. But the thing is, the concepts are simplified. Instead of like 8, 9 concepts, we've got 3. You got RPO, you got zone floods, and you got crossers. And lastly is like, man where you have rub concepts. And that's what's been working for Mitch because it's a lot easier to ID. The offense is not simplified. The scheme is simplified. And that's why basically this guy is performing at the level he is, even against Green Bay. Yes, I know he threw an interception. Shock horror, a quarterback threw an interception trying to push the ball deep. At the end of the day, it's been improving. The reason why it's been improving is because when you are playing against a good defense and you've got someone who is in a zone, that zone is about 18 yards wide by about 10 yards deep, front to back. If you have 3 guys, one late into the zone, one early in crossing the zone, one deep, that's 3 guys in one zone. You can't cover 3 with one. Now, we know the defense run, they drop 7 back, and that's normally 3 over the top or 2 over the top and 5 under zone or 4 under zone. And that's the way that you have the offense. I mean, love this sort of stuff. I mean, Komet there is the high read on that pass. So that pass to Mooney, the one we just seen, you've got Komet coming late on a deep out, and that stack there. So that stack, the 4 wide receivers that you just had. There, look, you've got Jimmy Graham, who's by the blue line. He's late into that zone. You've got Mooney underneath the zone, and they are covering the deep part of the zone, which is where Cole Komet is off to the left-hand side of the picture. Left-hand side of the picture, up there somewhere. You see that on that play. So motion tells you it's zone because no one's following him. You got play action there, or is it this the handoff? It's a boot action. Look, you see, you got Jimmy Graham leaving. So you got Cole Komet who's left the screen already. Jimmy Graham on the back side of the zone. Mooney on the front side of the zone, and the linebacker is chasing Cole. There he is on the left, and that's that high-low concept with a late release. How many times have we seen us beaten in zone where a tight end's released late? How many times have teams beaten the Bears that way? Well, guess what? We're using it on the rest of the NFL now. And the next play on this bit of highlights, where it's the 4 to the right, that's the play where he threw a touchdown to Montgomery the week before because they only had 3 in coverage. They were zoning it. Well, this time they went man. You got Jimmy Graham on the left, 6'7" against the 5'10" quarterback. So Mitch reads that. He sees the 4 people go out to the right. There they are. There's the 4th defender coming out the box. You got Jimmy Graham to the left. You got a 0 safety that's between the E and A, right there. And then you got to the left, you got Jimmy Graham, 6'7" against a 5'10" quarterback. Guess where I'm going with the ball? Shock horror, we're going to the guy who's going to out-jump him and box it.
No brainer.
This is the stuff. These reads for a quarterback are a lot easier. As an offensive line, what you're doing, if you know that you're bailing out, if you're doing boot action, you know the backside can just leave him and you can get out in front of him. You know which side you're booting to. It makes the block a lot easier. You're making stuff easier for everybody. And that's the reason why the offense is improved. Because rather than it being complex and having 4 options, depending upon what the coverage has, as a read for each wide receiver, you've now got one concept, 4 or 5 different routes, where the QB says, right, there's my read 1, there's my read 2. Okay, I know I've got this, that, and there. Boom. That's what it is. And the reason why we're taking the under, why we're going short passes, is because teams are covering us deep. Well, guess what? At some point, as the run game keeps going, the safeties have to come up to stop it because he's getting second level and you're getting 80-yard runs. Okay, so what happens with the cornerbacks bailing off? Well, if they bail off and we do sort of 6 yards, that's the way it is. We just take that. We'll take that 6 yards, Darnell Mooney in a bit of space, and we'll watch him run past you. That's the reason why. That's when we're going to get these deep shots, but they're going to come, and it's not going to come straight away. It's going to come a little bit later. But
George, what are they going to do though? I mean, how can they address the run game with the lack of carries for Montgomery at this point. I mean, this has been an ongoing issue in this offense since year one. And here last week, they open up the game with that big run, and they go away from Montgomery, and he ends up with 11 carries.
And what was the big run, Budge? It was an inside zone. Where are our best blockers? Our best blockers are guard, center, guard.
Yep.
Why are we running? Why are we running jet sweeps to the tackles who are useless at getting out in front of people? I mean, they're literally chocolate teapots. You know, they can't do what they're there to do. They're going to melt as soon as they get in hot water. I know I got you with that one, KV. I got you, brother. They are chocolate teapots. You know, you can't do anything with them. But that's what we're talking about. Is if your best blockers are guard, and Sam Mustafa is fantastic because what Sam Mustafa is doing is getting the hand on and he's getting to the correct side of the play and he's getting his ass. So it's an easy read for a running back. You run to the ass of the play side. So wherever the play is, you got two asses facing one way. You cut back. If you got one ass facing one way, one ass facing the other, you go in that gap. It's honestly, you're simplifying it so much more and running straight up the middle. Guess what? If that's where your best blockers are, no shit, Sherlock. No shit, Sherlock. That's where it's going to go. And it's going to keep going there until you put someone in. This play was fantastic. If you roll it back, I don't know, about 2 seconds. So it's an RPO look. JJ Watt he can't squeeze down because he has to play Mitch on that RPO action. So the play's coming across his face. That's an RPO look. Watt has to squeeze down. The linebacker on the backside also has to cover the tight end to the left. He's already out of the box. Mustafa gets up on the other inside linebacker. Sorry, that's Bars. Gets up on the inside linebacker. Mustafa's gone to the side and squeezed him. One high safety. That's the last guy left in the box. And do you know why? We had 3 guys away from the line of scrimmage. That takes 3 defenders away from the line of scrimmage, and you're running against the lighter box. Well, when you know what the play is and you've got an RPO, so the quarterback's a runner as well, so they have to honor that, you've got even less people in the box. You hand the ball off to Montgomery. Montgomery makes people miss. Oh, look, Montgomery can't do deep runs. Well, guess what? In the last 3 games, we've had a 54, a 56, and an 80-yard run. Don't tell me that David Montgomery can't hit the ball deep, because when the blocking is there and it is to the inside, that's where our best blockers are. This is what you get with David Montgomery. This is what you get. And what you also get is, try and bring him down with an arm. Ain't gonna happen. Try and bring him down by if you bring the load, it's gonna make you miss.
Yep.
And if you break down, you're gonna get a hand in your face.
Right.
And if you come with 2 or 3 guys, it's gonna make you pay. And that's the difference. He's a true back. And Cole Kmet, I'm loving the way he's running with the ball right now.
Oh, dude,
I mean, he's running like I love a tight end. I used to play tight end. I love a tight end who catches the ball and looks for a small guy, a smurf, to destroy. Because there's nothing better. There's nothing better than having a tackler that you're physically running over the top of, and you hear like as they're trying to make a tackle on you. It's even better than hearing. It's even better than hearing the wife moan. It's that kind of. We're at that kind of level. You know what I mean? You make the grown man.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
George, what took him so long to figure this out, though? Like, is it really Laser who figured this out and actually knows how to move an offense? And is it just Nagy's ignorance that is the reason why we haven't done this?
So Laser was on the scrap heap last year, and he was brought in this year to be an offensive coordinator. Yep. He's got an option to call plays. He's now putting himself in the shop window because I don't believe that Nagy's got a long-term tenure here. I mean, we're 3 years in. It's taken him this long. And it might be a case that Nagy, in his second job, becomes a really good head coach. But at the moment, it's costing the team his pride. And what we have is Laser calling the plays in the first half. I'm fairly convinced on this. And the first series of the third quarter is Nagy. He's calling those plays. I mean, you can see it from last week. We're 23 points up, and he calls 6 straight passes out of gun and a jet sweep.
Yeah.
Come on.
They wanted to stay aggressive, though. They wanted to stay aggressive, George.
Stay aggressive. Your very first play was what? It was an inside handoff, and it went for 80. And Sorry, that's my son. He's getting bored because we're stood still.
Hey, well, I'm right there with him.
I'm
That's
driving.
me too.
I'm listening to you boys. I'm still going to be listening, but I just wanted to talk some ball because I'm getting really annoyed with people saying, "No, Mitch can't do this, Mitch can't do that, he can't read." You're seeing him now read zones. You're seeing him read keys, and it might be dump offs, it might be easy passes, but at the end of the day, good quarterbacking is putting the ball where it needs to go when it needs to go, and that's where the offense goes. The offense goes as good as your line blocks and as good as your quarterback's decisions. Providing you can get the ball to where it needs to be, that's where you get good offense, and that's what we're getting at the moment. I'm going to head off, boys, and I'm still going to listen. Bring the fire, boys. Bear down.
Man.
George, we appreciate it. So why don't you
George, baby.
George.
Yeah,
Bye, boys.
George, plug your YouTube page. Plug your YouTube page real quick so everybody in the chat knows where to find you and where they can get this breakdown.
So if you just basically search Bellissimo, there's a pinned post actually in my profile on Twitter at Bellissimo1, so you can get to it via that. If you just search Bellissimo, I know there's the tape never lies and all, the Phil's breakdowns and all the rest of it. I don't try and tell you what to think, and I'm not trying to tell you what to see on the field. What I'm trying to do is my breakdowns are basically looking at the tape, showing you where people are going, telling you what the coverage is pre and post snap, and then where he's making the decisions and what decisions. I'm not going to tell you what to think. You're all adults. You're all grown-up people. So I'm going to maybe, hopefully, widen.
Oh no,
we lost him.
And that's all I try and do in my channel. So I hope you enjoy it, and bear down and let's get a dub today. I don't care whether we get, you're looking at one or two draft positions. At the end of the day, if either a quarterback's going to fall or they're not, typically speaking, only 3 go in the first round, 3 or 4. So you're going to have like Trask, you're going to have Mac Jones, someone like that, or Justin Fields is going to.
Bad connection across the pond. I thought I was the one with the bad connection. I was like, man.
I thought it was me too. I was like, wait a second. Can anybody is this me right now?
It was like
yeah, well there we go, chat. That's you know him already. That's Barlissimo. It's George.
Barlissimo on YouTube.
Check him out on YouTube. Yeah, he's a very passionate fan, obviously. And smart as fuck, man. Dude, always,
a lot smarter than I am.
Breakdowns are great. Yeah, me too. George, we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, I want to know when he's submitting his application to be the head coach. I'll vote for him if it matters.
This isn't Green Bay. You don't get to vote on who your coach is. You don't have a stake in this business, Mike.
I'm a black-owned team owner.
Yeah, George was definitely on it. Great breakdown, and just whatever he tells it how it is, man, and just brings it in and breaks it down. Let's roll into this game. Let's roll into this upcoming game against the Vikings. Last faced was the Monday night game, where we seen Foles get injured at the end. He basically played the whole game. He got injured last couple plays, I think it was. And we dropped
good old Tyler Bray.
Yeah, Tyler Bray actually finished because Mitch was hurt.
Yeah, the Tennessee kid. Fucking goofball Tyler Bray, the most protected quarterback in the league. Yeah.
Right.
Coming over to you, Mike. What do you see in this Vikings game, and how do you think the Bears come out and get after this team, man?
Well, I think what makes me a little bit nervous is that you've got rookies. Second-year guy in Duke Shelley that are going to be covering 2 guys that roasted us in that last game, in Thielen and in Justin Jefferson. So I think that's one area we're going to have to rely on those rookies to step up and play a good game. But I think if we can keep Hicks healthy for the entire game and he stays in, we can contain the run, and I think that'll help the cause back there. But to me, those are a couple keys. You want to see the defense get aggressive, but you almost can't get aggressive because you don't want to leave your DBs out to dry, especially new guys. So I'll be curious to see how Pagano plays that. But I think we're all going to be watching Shelley and Vildor and see how they can contain these explosive receivers that the Vikings have.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, we just run right into it. Perfect little setup there, Michael. Well done. But we got a little clip here with Pagano talking about Shelley and Vildor. So let's drop that in here, and we'll get your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah, really proud of Duke. Both those guys. They prepare really well. Not always up and active. Guys could go the other way, mope and do this, that, and the other, and not prepare and not go out and practice. But those guys show up every single day. Kendall's a pit bull. Both those guys are. They're young, hungry, scrappy, highly competitive football players. They're twitchy. They can run. They got good feet, skills, instincts. They know the game. If both of them have to play significant amount of time again, they'll go out and play really, really hard, and they'll compete, and there'll be a mistake, like all the guys make mistakes, but we don't worry about that. We just move on to the next play. So proud of both those guys.
Guys, I got to jump in here because Duke Shelley's our guy. He's been our guy from the jump. Even before he signed his first freaking rookie contract, he was on the Barfly Tailgate show. He already had the Go Get It Foundation up and going. Badge of Honor winner, our first live Badge of Honor interview from a player. And dude, he played phenomenal last week. Focused on him last week because I was excited to see him get the chance, and I thought he played phenomenal. And Kindle Vildor, I know Eldo and Danny got to talk to him at the Senior Bowl last year. Eldo and I got to see him play in the game. He had an interception in the game. I thought he played really well, and I'm really excited to see this kid get a chance here. And I really think as Bears fans, we're going to be we're going to come away impressed, I think, from Duke today, as well as Kindle Vildor. I'm not going to sit here and say that, somebody's not going to, have a big play against them, but I feel confident going into this game with both of these guys lining up on the defensive side of the ball against the Vikings today.
Yeah, I do too, man. I like both of them. Obviously, Badge to play off of that. Duke is a guy that we've been talking to for a couple of years now, and I'm excited for him, man. I'm happy, that he's had a kind of a little breakout, right? And now he's going to be challenged with some more. And even in the interview, we had talked to him about it, and it's different for him because he's gonna, playing kind of somewhat of a different position that he came up playing, right? But are these guys coming out and playing? And I know nobody wants to say it, and we don't want it to happen personally, but it's a topic. With these guys coming out and playing and playing, big, is this a reason to sell high on Fuller? Is this something that happens where Kyle Fuller now in the offseason with the cap and all this other shit, is he expendable, and is he a sell high piece now?
I don't think so. I think Kyle Fuller is a guy that should stay here. I think he is in the secondary. I think he's that cornerstone piece that I think you would need to see. I love Jalen Johnson, but I'm not 100% sold on him right yet. I think he is a great player. I think he's played very well this season. But at the same time, there's been times where he really hasn't looked the greatest as well.
And he's the reason we're leaning on Vildor and Shelley today. So
yeah. And I think surgery in the offseason to repair the shoulder. He re-aggravated it last week, tackling Deshaun Watson at the goal line. So, I don't think Kyle Fuller should go anywhere personally. I think he's a veteran guy. He can continue to teach these young guys. I think he's, the way he plays, I think the Duke Shelleys, the Kindle Vildors, some of these other younger guys have learned from him, and just the way he goes about his preparation, working when he's on the field. You hear from other players that, Kyle Fuller isn't a talker. He just goes out, does his
Yep.
job, does his business, and that's
Absolutely.
what he's all about. And these guys, he's a perfect guy to learn from for these young guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is strange for a corner.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said, but not to rehash the entire conversation from last week. But we might be in a position where you have to part ways with somebody that you don't necessarily want to part ways with. But if you have enough cap space and you get assets, we only have 5 picks, I think, in next year's draft right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if he affords you the best opportunity to get picks and relieve cap space, he could be a casualty of that. I agree with you 100%. I think he's an awesome leader for these young quarterbacks, these young DBs that we have. But the Bears might find themselves with their backs against the wall. And we may need to part ways with somebody that we don't want them to lose.
Well,
and
when
that's
it
what I was
comes
getting
down
at.
to it, if it's Mac or Fuller, one of the two has to go. I'm gonna keep Mac on this football team.
Yeah, I agree.
Hi.
AC gets uncomfortable when he's on full screen. He doesn't like it.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's like if you ever go back and look at a recording of yourself or just and it's just you. It's like, how you doing? Dance, monkey, dance.
Hey, what you gotta do is hit him with the serious face and then hit him with the wink.
That's good.
No, but I agree. Like, just to wrap that up, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I don't want Fuller to go anywhere, but I think when it comes to it, some of the veteran guys, some of this caps, something's gonna have to give on one of these, right? Especially if you try to tag Mitch, if you try to do something like this, something's got to give. Hopefully, it's not Fuller. But we're at the point of his contract where next year this money gets pretty fucking big for Fuller. And do I think he's earned it? Yeah, absolutely. I think he's earned every penny of it. But that's not the way business works. And I think that, they might end up letting him go or trading or sell high on a guy in order to, obviously they're not just going to let him go. But in regards of trading him out, and selling high on a guy, he's a guy that you can actually do it and get something in return for right now because of how well he's been doing. But we'll see.
I just think, Bobby, that you can restructure a guy's contract. So if he's supposed to get a big chunk of change at this point, in his contract, there's things that the team can do to help offset that cost, turn it into a signing bonus,
extension.
Sign him to an extension to put that money back toward, on the end of the deal. And then when the time comes, I don't think you walk away from Kyle Fuller right now.
Well, if you keep kicking the money down the road, then you end up in a situation like the Saints were when Pace left, where they were just in draft cap hell and had to. Yeah, I think that's when they traded Graham when he was considered at the top of his level and stuff like that. Like, I don't want Fuller to be gone, but how old is he? 29? That age 30 it's a magical age in the NFL.
Yeah. And Elijah brings up the point that I like. That's what I keep going back to, is that he's going to get you a return. I agree with that. You can restructure, you can make the money okay, but like in the next couple of years, I think having those assets, those draft picks is big because of the financial situation that we'll be in, and having guys that are cost controlled or on these team friendly deals. So that's why. And again, I'm not advocating that we need to get rid of Fuller, but he might be that, alleviates the most amount of space, and then the combination of return draft picks.
Definitely, man. That's where I'm at with it too. And I just think with these guys, whatever, starting to ball out or whatever, I don't think that they're replacements, right? But them playing well does not help with the possibility or the thought of a Kyle Fuller trade. It makes the trade easier. But who knows, man? All right, on to these Vikings, man. We've kind of been, I mean, we haven't really even talked about this game. Is this game? Yeah, is this game? Do you guys see this game? And for those of you in the chat, let us know. Is this game have any playoff implications on a 2, 6, and 7 teams? Is this going to feel like a playoff game where both teams know that, like, you know, they're basically done if they don't win?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every game from here on out is a playoff game. Every single one.
I think we saw that intensity from the Bears last week. They knew that every game from here on out is an elimination game. And today should be a fun game to watch because both teams are under that same circumstance. So it's wild to think playoffs right now, but realistically, with having a 7th team, they've put us in this situation where we can't have a team that arguably doesn't deserve to be there. And it's, you know, we're one of the finalists for that spot. So I think absolutely today will feel like a playoff game. You know, for everybody that's watching, regardless of where you're at, Minnesota or Chicago.
Win or go home. That's what it is. I mean, you've got to, if you're the Bears, the Vikings, you've got to win out. You know, I mean, I think it's huge for us to beat the Vikings because they've already beaten us this season. So I think that definitely, you know, holds some weight. We had beat them 4 straight times prior to that, week 10 matchup where we lost 19-13. And you know, which it's unfortunate because I mean, I don't know that we would have had Mitch. We wouldn't. Well, actually, I do know. I know we wouldn't have had Mitch for that game anyway. So Foles was going to start as Mitch had the shoulder injury. So, you know, let's say Mitch doesn't have the shoulder injury. Would he start? No, they still would have trotted Foles out there. But
Mitch would have came in earlier than that, though. I think they wouldn't have sat there with Foles getting beat up that entire game. They would have brought Mitch in. I do.
I don't know. I disagree, man.
You think they just sit there and let Foles get his ass kicked all day? No fucking way.
Yeah,
there's no fucking way.
These coaching staff is a bunch of dipshits. We've talked about it all show, dude. They would have fucking left. They would have left Foles right out there and allowed him because that's Nagy's guy. I don't think. Do you realize how much this pains Nagy that Mitch is excelling? They've had to change the offense to his. Nagy was done with this motherfucker. He was out of my fucking offense.
It's saving his job. He can't hate the guy too fucking much.
Whoa, but he didn't have a choice. Foles got hurt.
Their jobs depend on it.
Yeah, but Foles got hurt, man, and so he had no choice but to go back to Mitch or play your favorite guy from down there, fucking Tyler Bray, dude. This coaching staff to me doesn't have it. They don't fucking get it. I think there's finally starting. It's like a smidge right now that they're starting to get it. But make no mistake about it. If Mitch comes out today and throws a pick or 2 or 3, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if Nagy's like, fuck it, get out, Foles, you're going in a heartbeat.
I don't want to agree with Badge, but I agree with Badge.
Y'all both thought that they would just leave Foles out there getting killed all night?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm pretty much on the same train, bro. Foles is Nagy's guy. It's what we saw. You pulled Trubisky. You pulled shit. They had. We sat and watched Foles be the most non-mobile quarterback in the league for the good part of 3 games and have no offensive movement. I mean, you take it for what it is. Trubisky was hurt, yeah, but they weren't gonna put Trubisky ass back in there because that means you have to admit that you were wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, Nagy ain't trying to admit that he's wrong.
And he has yet to.
And Mitch can't. Mitch can't put himself back in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, like Mitch came out and said he can't put himself back in the game. So, you know, it's on this coaching staff here. No, I agree. I think Nagy really took it on the chin here. I think Nagy doesn't like Mitch. And I think this is all blown up in his face. and he's whispering sweet nothings into Foles' ear here, telling him like, man, come on, my whole fucking job is my job is relying on you to do something. And Foles is like, damn it. What do I do next? But I think Nagy just shows his poor another piece to the whole poor coaching, and not just the play calling is, was it a good call for Foles to go in there in that game against Atlanta? Yeah, probably. I mean, it showed that it was good, right? But where would we be if Mitch started those games after that? And the change wasn't made that fast. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I think it's just another blunder of the coaching staff in that, and Nagy now is.
You absolutely.
I mean, what's the common denominator? You can read through our chat and go, well, the play calling's gotten better since Nagy gave it up. Oh, yeah. Like, everything points back to Nagy. He doesn't get it, and that's thank goodness for other coaches recognizing that he stinks, and they've.
So we're in a catch-22. If the Bears win out, he's going to be here. We're not going to get rid of him if he goes to the playoffs.
I agree, but at least there's other people here that finally have him under somewhat of control.
Somebody might pull those guys away. If Bill Lazor calls plays really well, somebody might look at him to be the next head coach somewhere. There's going to be like 5 or 6 openings this offseason.
I don't know about a head coaching job, but he might get, an offensive coordinator. He's going to leave for another OC job?
Why would he leave for that?
Oh, Lord. What if they just bumped him up here?
If he could be OC here and still call plays, why would he leave unless it's for a head coaching gig?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know if does Lazor get fired with Nagy?
Can we talk about this Vikings game, bro?
we have not spoken about the Vikings yet. Like,
we're like an hour and 40 minutes in.
The show's been off the rails. We've been in left field the entire time. Okay, we need to get back on the pace.
I need highlighters, underline.
Oh my god!
I don't know, man. I mean, what is there really to say about this Vikings game?
It all starts up front.
We just
if Akeem Hicks can stay healthy and we can stop Dalvin Cook, that's where it starts and ends. And as far as the young secondary guys, absolutely they have a lot to prove, but we have got to. It starts up front. You got to stop Dalvin Cook, and you got to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. And on the other side of the ball, just continue what we did last week. Run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Get Mitch Trubisky moving the pocket, little slant routes and stuff. I'm confident in this Bears team. All of a sudden, what difference a week makes?
Yeah, right. Holy shit.
Last week I'm talking draft. This week I'm talking playoffs.
What they do to us every year. I think the other thing that could be big today is a third down defense.
Yeah.
Red zone defense. Dan Bailey's missed 7 straight kicks. He's missing extra points. So if you can force the Vikings, bend, don't break, right? That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure that third down defense is as good as it can possibly be. Force him to kick the ball, and he's going to miss a couple. Even though it's a home game, there's no win, nothing like that. I think they were home last week when he was missing kicks left and right. So that could come into play too. Little intangible, little special teams.
Yeah. Where did Justin Jefferson go to college?
LSU.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking he went to Clemson.
No.
Disregard. I was going to say Kendall Vildor played against Clemson and looked pretty well last. Yeah, I'm thinking of Higgins. That was like his best college tape was against Higgins. So
yeah, they did play though. So
they played.
Yeah, Vildor I think was just on the left side the whole game, so he covered. I think
Chase.
Yes. Yep. But Jefferson
going to be a top
85 yards and just 1 touchdown against Vildor. So I looked that up yesterday because I thought when we were talking draft back in April that I saw tape of Georgia Southern and LSU, and he did. Vildor had 2 big games against LSU and Clemson, so the kid knows how to come prepared when the pressure's on. So
I'm excited to see him play. I thought Duke Shelley played really well in Buster Screen's absence. Buster Screen,
He needs to take Buster Screen's spot.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings if they just put him on IR and shut him down the rest of the season and let him leave this offseason.
Well, I think that's what they're kind of doing right at this point. They don't seem to be in a big hurry to bring him back, and I think you may, as long as Duke and Kendall play well today, I don't see that changing. I mean, you saw it happen with Taylor Gabriel. Was it last year, the year before, where he had a concussion and we never saw him again, and then he was released in the offseason. This matchup today, guys, the Vikings defense is going to be without a couple players. I know Kendricks is going to miss the game. There was somebody else too, and for the life of me, I can't think of who it was that was going to miss the game. Defensively, they're going to be down a couple pieces, but Robert Smith is still there. They do get some pressure with that front. But I think if we continue to do what we've done over the last few weeks with Mitch, move in the pocket, rollouts, drags across the field, slants, quick game, I really think the Bears can come out and really just do what they did last week offensively. Defensively, I want to see more of last week too. We were getting to the quarterback. That first series, I tweeted it out. Can somebody escort Pagano off the field? Because they were 3rd and 10 plus, and they sat in zone, and it was an easy pickup for Watson. Luckily, they were able to get off the field shortly thereafter. They've got to continue to be aggressive in all phases.
I thought that was
defense, special teams.
Am I wrong? I thought Pagano's calling card when he came here was they were like, he's a good defensive coordinator and he's more aggressive than Fangio.
But we haven't seen that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers showed you this is how you beat the Green Bay Packers. You blitz your middle linebackers. You get in Aaron Rodgers' face. You stop the run. And we sat back in zone the entire game.
Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty sure you guys said that on that show.
Yeah.
Was you have to hit Aaron Rodgers, or if you sit back, it's gonna, and now at this point, you're really, I mean, Kirk Cousins, if you pressure Kirk Cousins, what does he do? He turns the ball.
Play like shit.
Yeah, he turns the ball over. Let's get after him, hit him. Obviously, Dalvin Cook, you can't forget about him. I sat here and watched Cynthia Freeland and the other 2 schmucks she's with in the morning in their fantasy preview or whatever the fuck the show is they do on NFL Network, and they all picked the Vikings to win today. So, of course, which I'm not going to happen. I'm sorry. This team is playing at another level right now on all sides of the ball. I think they recognize what the opportunity they have in front of them. Why it took so long, I don't know. But I think they're ready to roll. And I really think they're going to go into Minnesota. And I feel like this is going to be that 2018 game in Minnesota. I know it was the last game of the year, but the Bears got up big. They had already clinched a playoff spot. They benched their starters in the second half. And the Bears' second half the second team defense and offense just freaking dominated the Vikings against their starters. Yeah. And I really think we can go out there and shut this Minnesota team down defensively. And I think our offense will show us today they can move points or move the ball and put points up against this defense.
The last game when we lost to the Vikings was the only loss Nagy has against the Vikings. So it's not like he hasn't – and Vikings fans laugh at us because we got Trubisky. Meanwhile, they've got Kirk Cousins, who's a more expensive Trubisky, which I'll never understand. But how as far as people picking the Vikings and Vikings fans in general, we have the same exact record. You've beaten us once, and we didn't even have Trubisky starting at the time. Trubisky's undefeated against this team. So where's the confidence coming from on their side of the – you've never seen Dalvin Cook go off when we're at full strength. Even this last game, did he get over – did he eclipse 100 yards?
No, he was under.
But
He just got 100 lined up from scrimmage that game. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the confidence probably comes from, take away last week, but the confidence probably comes from the fact that the Bears had lost 6 straight. And Minnesota was basically on the opposite trajectory, where they started 5 or whatever. So I think that's where most of it comes from, and maybe people just trying not to have that recency bias because of what went down last week with both teams. But I mean, I'm with you guys. There's no reason why the Bears cannot win this game or should not win this game. If we get to Cousins, apply a little bit of pressure, he makes mistakes. And if the Bears do what they did last week and they play strong in all 3 phases, we win this game. No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, Dalvin Cook doesn't do shit against us. You know what I'm saying? He's not the beast that he is against other teams. We consistently shut Cook down. You're right. I mean, Mitch has never lost. We've never lost to the Vikings with Mitch at quarterback. I think just brings.
We did.
No.
His first game that he played. Remember his first game ever. We played Monday on a Thursday night. Was it Monday night?
It was Monday.
It might have been, but he had played that big game, but he almost brought us back, but he threw that pick at the end of the game to Harrison Smith.
Yep.
Yeah, and we ended up losing.
Harrison Smith, dirty ass.
But I say that to say this. I love you boys. I am at work. I need to go take my ass in the back and start doing some shit. I'm gonna go ahead and slide out, man. Real quick. I slide my prediction in. Bold prediction: Bears score over 30 points again. It seems like to be the running thing. We'll score over 30 points. I'll say 3 scores from Trubisky, maybe 2 in air, and he runs 1 in. But we score over 30 points, and defense pitches a shutout. Bold prediction.
Oh shit!
So I'm gonna go with 32-0.
Wow, 32-0.
Yes, I'm saying I'm pitching shutout.
Woo! All right, man.
Hey, why not, man? I'm shooting for the stars, baby.
He hits 1 bold prediction, and now he's trying to throw no hitters. Come on, bro.
Yes, sir.
Now he's not.
Yes, sir.
Nostradamus.
I'm feeling myself. Smelling myself.
Hey, so before we. All right, KB, appreciate it, man.
All right,
we'll talk during the game,
man.
brother. All right.
Later, y'all.
All right, so before we get into bold predictions, score predictions, we're going to give away Allen Robinson football, a signed, autographed Allen Robinson football. The only thing that you have to do is get over to the Within Reach Foundation, make a donation. First person to send us out to the Barfly Tailgate show, send us a screenshot of their Within Reach donation, gets the ball. That's it. Make a donation to the Within Reach Foundation. Send us a screenshot before the end of the show, and we will send you a signed Allen Robinson football, Badge of Honor football. Send it over to the Barfly Tailgate show on Twitter, or send it to Badge, or send it to me, or any of us. Get it in there. Take a screenshot of your donation, send it over, and we will get a ball out to you. You won't get it by Christmas because we all know USPS it's not going to happen. But we'll get a ball out to you as quick as we can. Sorry, now I got to open up my Twitter page just in case somebody sends one. Otherwise, we got bold predictions, score predictions, and then we got a little Manscaped thing we're gonna let you guys know about. But Badge, let's start with you, man. Let me get your score prediction. How you see this game playing out, whether it's a boat race or a smoke show like KB just put it. Let me get your score prediction and how you see this game playing out, man.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a boat race. But I see the Bears coming away with an 11-point victory. 28-17 over the Vikings today to stay alive in the playoff hunt. I, like KB, think Mitch continues to play well, but I think you're going to see the tight ends get involved in the red zone today. I'm going to go with touchdowns for Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham. That's if Jimmy Graham is a go today. I know he was dealing with a hip issue. I saw this morning from somebody that there was a possibility that he may not play, but if he does, I'm going to go a touchdown for each of them as my bold prediction. And I think David Montgomery continues to ball out. I'm excited for David Montgomery. Everybody's been on this dude's ass that doesn't really understand how a lot of this works. Yeah. And I think he's a phenomenal player, and I think he continues to play very good football today.
He's got it. I'm going a little different, man. But before I get into that, I'm going to go into this little Manscaped promo that we got. It's not too late to get your, get your balls right. Get your Manscaped shit going. Get your stocking stuffers in there. Go to manscaped.com. Use code BARROOM20. Few of the products, Prime Stocking Stuffers, the Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant. The name speaks for itself. You got the Crop Reviver. It's like I said before, it's like Red Bull for your balls. Then you got the Crop Cleanser. It's a little body wash. Full body wash that you can use just all over. The Essentials packet that's showing on the screen right now, you can get that one. It comes with the Lawnmower 3.0, and with the Lawnmower 3.0, you got the no nick technology. You can use this thing right in the shower, man. It just offers the ceramic blades and comes with the advanced skin safe technology, like I said. So get over to Manscaped. She does not come in the package, as was asked last week. I'm sorry, she is not part of the kit that you purchase. But get over to manscaped.com, use code BARROOM20, get 20% off your entire purchase and free shipping and handling. And get yourself taken care of and cleaned up. So with that, let me move into my prediction. And I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here, but I'm going to go with 33-13. I'm going with the Bears coming out and just embarrassing the Vikings at home. I'm going with the Vikings touchdown comes in the first quarter, and then after that, nothing, man, except for another another couple field goals. But I think they're going to come out and drive it downfield on us right away. Then this Bear team is going to wake up, and we're going to bring it to them. So I'm going 33-13. Bold prediction. I'm going Mooney with over 100 yards receiving, and gets one just deep one broken open, and we see that deep ball that Mitch has been trying to connect to, and we see that happen today. So I'm going with Mooney over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the Bears winning this one 33-13. And with that, I'm going to go over to Mr. Mike Schaefer. Bold prediction, score prediction. AC, we're leaving you for last, man. I've got to hear what you say. But Mr. Mike, give us your score prediction, bold prediction, brother.
Yeah, we got to steal all the good stuff. Well, Bobby, you have more faith in Dan Bailey than I do. 2 field goals. Bold predictions. I'm going to go with a Roquan Smith strip sack that leads to a defensive touchdown. Roquan's been heating up, and they've been sending pressure on the edge with him more so recently, which has done a lot of other good things for the defense. But I've got Roquan with a strip sack leading to a defensive touchdown. I've got Dalvin Cook under 100 yards, but that doesn't seem very bold. So let's say under 90 yards. Oh, fuck it. Under 80 yards. Under 80 yards on the ground. From Dalvin Cook. I think Hicks being in the game, the whole game is going to have a huge impact. And I want to go with a Kindle Vildor bold prediction too, because I think he's going to have a breakout game. I'm going to give him a pick. I'm going to give him a pick in a huge welcome to the NFL game. See, the factor says 2 picks. I'm going to go with 1 pick. Play it a little bit conservative, but I think he'll have a big game. Final score: Bears win 24-20. I think, like I said, I think the defense puts up points today for the Bears. We see a closer game, lower scoring, and relatively evenly matched. 2 teams fighting for that last playoff spot. So I don't think you're going to see an imbalance. I don't think you're going to see one team run away with it. I think we're going to see a good game for 4 quarters, and 24-20 is my prediction.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner of the Allen Robinson football. Their post on Twitter, Mr. Tyler Ellis is going to receive an Allen Robinson signed football with his $200 donation to the Within Reach Foundation. Damn. Big game, brother. Coming through in the clutch. Damn. Definitely appreciate you, man. Yeah, definitely appreciate you, man. And the Within Reach Foundation. Everybody else in the chat, check it out. Check out the Within Reach Foundation. It's helping Chicago public schools. Allen Robinson's foundation. partnered up with us and the Badge of Honor this season, and it's been nothing but great things. And at this point, Badge, I know me and you had discussed it in the past. I don't know if we ever brought it up on the show, but at this point, since partnering up with Within Reach Foundation, because of your generosity and everybody listening to the show and everybody who supports us, we've managed to gain over $10,000 for the Within Reach Foundation this season. So currently right now we're over a 10K mark on bringing it in for the Within Reach Foundation. And that's because of you guys in the chat and for helping out. And this is just another one. Big gains. We appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. And I'm going to kick it over to AC for AC's score prediction and bold prediction, Mr. Aaron Current.
All right. Finally.
Go full screen, AC. Don't get uncomfortable, man.
I wasn't like KB, but I said Montgomery would have 100 yards and a touchdown, and so I was right too. But my prediction this week, I've had a lot of things going through my head while all y'all were talking. I wanted to talk about Roquan, I wanted to talk about, and all y'all took them. So what am I going? I think Anthony Miller might have himself a day. So I'm going to say Anthony Miller catches 2 touchdown passes today from Mitch Trubisky. Bears win 27-24. And Dan Bailey misses a last 50-yard field goal. It just goes wide right on him. And the Bears get the dub today. And we keep our playoff hopes alive. Led by Jalen Hurts to help us out even more.
Oh, yeah, we're going to definitely need that. So everybody's going with the victory today. Wow, how quickly the weeks have changed. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just because this is an NFC North team. But
last week I was talking draft. This week I'm talking playoffs.
Yeah, how about it, man? I mean, it's just back and forth.
Eldo's on the lose a heartbreaker.
Oh yeah, you're right. He is. I think they got this one, man. They're gonna leave us right. This is the way the Bears do to us every season. Besides the 18 season, but either way, they're gonna leave us right up to the edge, man.
Ben's
Go ahead. What is it?
Is great. We score a touchdown in the third quarter.
It's as bold as it gets.
Yeah, that's bold, dude.
I mean, the third quarter of the season we went 0-4. The third quarters this year we've been fucking horrible. That's just how it goes. Let's go once around the room to shout outs. If you guys got any shout outs, throw them out there. Anybody in the chat, go ahead, toss it in there if you guys want. Let's kick around the room for shout outs and then wrap this thing up. Mr. Ryan Badgley, shout outs, send it.
Yeah, guys, always my barroom family. Shout outs to you guys. Shout outs to Shane Marsaw. Congratulations on the welcome. You'll be welcoming a baby girl in June. Congratulations to you and the family, man. So happy for you guys. New Jersey Bears fan and New Jersey Bears fan wife, they are expecting their 6th child, and he's finally getting that boy that he's been waiting on. So congratulations to them. I can't thank you guys enough, man, for coming on the show during the season, through the playoffs, week over week, and bringing it every week. A huge thank you to Eldo behind the scenes, producing and doing all of the legwork for us to put this show out week over week. Guys in the chat, on the downloads, thank you so much for coming with us every show, whether it's a Sunday, a Monday, a Thursday. We appreciate you guys so much, and we love doing this, man. This is something fun that we like to do, talk about our favorite team, and the fact that you guys are here interacting with us makes it that much more special for us. So thank you. Merry Christmas to all of you, because we won't see you prior to that. I hope everybody gets what they want. I hope Santa's good to you all, and Merry Christmas.
Damn straight. Mike, Mr. Mike, what you got, man? Old Magic Mike down there with his Bears sweater and the 606 hat. What you got, man? Any shout outs?
Yeah, shout outs to you guys, as always, for bringing me on. It's a great way to start Bears Sunday. Shout out to Aldo for running the controls today, doing an amazing job and allowing me to be a part of this. And then I also have a shout out to Bonnie, the NFL league office, for not taking me to the woodshed this week on trademark infringement. Much appreciated out here in the chat. I'm pretty sure Bonnie's probably watching the cast somewhere. So thank you, Bonnie, and thanks to all Bears fans. We ended up raising $2,400 that went to Bears Care this week from Gator sales throughout the season. So thank you, everybody that participated and got involved. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody in the chat and everybody out there that's watching. Hopefully, it's a berry Christmas.
Ooh,
W today.
done.
Maybe we get a W today, and we finish the season strong.
Perfect, Mr. Aaron Current. Shout outs, man. What you got?
Man, you put me last but not least all day. Shout
I
out to
haven't
everybody.
gone yet, man.
Hell,
You know
I
what?
haven't
Mute
gone
him.
yet.
You don't even get shout outs. You're done.
Man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Let me come on here to my weekly therapy session to talk through some Bears football, talk about my Wildcats, which are breaking my heart now, and this everything. But Merry Christmas. I'm ready for some time off from work. I work in a factory and we shut down for Christmas, which is amazing. And I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for some time off. Spend some time with my family. Make sure you guys are spending time with your family as much as you can, whether that's, with this COVID world, maybe some of y'all are having Christmas dinner via Zoom or however you're doing it.
Yeah.
But shout out to all y'all. Shout out to the bar room. Shout out to Aldo for giving us this platform to have our voices heard. There's a lot of Bears fans who don't have a platform, and it's amazing to be able to come on here every week and release my fury. And shout out to, and we got so many shows on the bar room, man. I know you're going to go into it, Bobby, but there's a couple of them that I hold near and dear to my heart. Shout out to John Buffone and the Buffone 55. They go every week, get you set up for what game is coming up, and they talk to the people that cover said team. So what better way to learn about your opponent than to hear it from the people that cover that opponent. And shout out to the Gaines who got the football today. If you're looking for an optimistic Bears fan, look no further than the Gaines report. I mean, that man, and there he is. Look at those guns, man. Gun show down there. And
guns of funds right there, man.
Yeah, him and speaking of Buffone, him and Buffone they'll come in and talk about this game after the game's over with. I know Aldo and Buffone come on at halftime, so you get a little halftime report here at the bar room. I'm not going to take your job away, though, Bobby. You go ahead. I'll let you cover all that stuff. Just bear down to all the fans on here.
Damn straight. Yeah. Shout outs, Echo Badge. Shout out over to Mr. Marcel and New Jersey Bears fan. Congratulations. On your babies. And soon to be the father of a girl for his first girl, and then soon to be father of his first boy. So congratulations to Shane and Ela and Riley. Riley's gonna be a big brother, man. I would hate to be messing I would hate to walk in and see that dude as the big brother for later on in life when that thing happens. He's gonna definitely be smashing some kids' faces open. So congratulations for that. And then shout out to all you guys in the chat. The chat's just been on fire today and going at it. Everybody for joining us every weekend. And like AC was saying, join Bear Football at halftime, and then immediately after the Bears game, get in there, see what those guys got. Hopefully it's a good excitement and not fuck where are we at now, and everybody's getting fired and who knows. But thank you for everybody for joining us today. Be sure to catch those guys at halftime and after the show. And I think otherwise that's about it. I think I'm good. Let's go out there and get that dub today. And everybody, we're gonna leave you with a big old bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down. Let's get that dub.
Dub, dub. Dub, dub.